Is threading taking up an engagement at Royal Ascot?
Yes, she'll go to the coronation. That was a huge relief more than anything, York. I know it's very easy to pick holes in the race. You know, Shaker Acre got withdrawn at the start, and it was a bit of a mess of a race. But the performance was what mattered, and how she delivered, and the feeling that she gave William, which was of a genuine Group 1 filly.
Is that his assessment straight after?
It was, yeah. And you know, we said to him, should we go? We even, typical us, the Irish Guineas was only 10 days later, and there was a brief discussion in the winners' enclosure, would we be mad going to Ireland next weekend? We managed to resist that temptation and save her for Ascot. But
because it was as reactionary as that to talk about the Irish Guineas being just a few days away at that stage, did it come as a bit of a surprise that she'd put up a performance like that?
Not a surprise, because we all know how good she was last year. We all saw that performance in the Lowther on just her second start. Yeah. But there's no getting away from the fact that we were on the canvas. You know, we'd run 2 really poor races at Newmarket. The Nell Gwyn, we sort of left there all scratching our heads as to what do we do with this filly. And yeah, there's no getting away from it. We were on a retrieval mission going to York, and going there hopeful rather than confident, if we're being honest, that the real threading was still there. We just hadn't quite uncovered her yet this year, and thankfully she bounced back to her real best.
Has she turned a corner at all at home since then? Is there anything different about her?
To be honest, I do remember saying to Jono in the paddock at York, this filly, she went up the grass about a week before York, and it just looked like she'd come alive a bit in her work. Obviously, I know it's an easy excuse that we've all been using all spring, but the winter up here was horrendous. A lot of those fillies weren't in the sort of shape we'd want them to be in going into the start of the season, and we certainly saw her start to turn a corner in late April, and it showed at York. Do
you see the mile round a bend as it is in the coronation? Do you think that's very much what'll suit her?
Well, that's the other thing going into York. We were sort of guessing about trip as well. You know, she'd won 2 races at 6 as a 2-year-old, and we were thinking at the start of the year we were hoping she was a Guineas filly. Yeah. But the way she ran in the Nell Gwyn, we learnt nothing about trip, and we actually had her in a race at Nottingham the week before York over 6 furlongs. So we weren't certain at that stage what her optimum distance was going to be this year, because you know, you couldn't learn anything from that run in the Nell Gwyn. So that was the best thing about York, that we had some clarity going forward that she was a miler and that was going to be her best distance. And I know it's another thing James Willoughby and Tom Segal have noticed in the recent weeks, have picked up on about sire stats at Ascot, and Exceed and Excel having a phenomenal record at Ascot. So there's no excuses on the track for her, that's for sure.